Hi, my name is Wise, and I am forever failing at continuing a Stardew Valley save. But Stardew Valley's 1.6 update just came out, and I decided now is the time. I am going to finally 100% the game, and I'm gonna do it blind. This means no wiki, so I'm gonna have to make my own. I also know nothing about the patch besides what I read in the patch notes, so everything I need to know about the game is going to have to be from my memory or by learning about it in-game. To make things even more interesting, I have decided to turn on remix bundles. Not only are there new remixes added in this patch, but I've also never played with them, so hopefully this will keep this blind run pretty fresh. I will also be playing on the new Meadowlands farm for this playthrough, which I started the day the update came out, so I had no idea what it looked like. With that being said, let's hop right in. Day 1 started as it usually does, with me going to grab my parsnips, except,
Hey, I don't get seeds.
Apparently the new farm gives you hay and not seeds, and I think this is a first. It was quite surprising, but I moved past it because I was excited to explore my farm for the very first time. I rather quickly found my chickens, so say hello to Ollie and Eggy. I don't remember which one is which, but I think they respond to both, so it probably doesn't matter. I did a little bit of exploring of the new farm, and I was quite surprised by how large it felt. And then I went into town to greet the villagers. I stopped at Pierre's, checking the calendar on the way in because there were some new things from the update, and I was a little confused by these star question mark things. There's a lot of stuff for us to figure out later, but for now I was in desperate need of some seeds since we didn't start with any, so I went into Pierre's and I spent all of my cash on parsnips. I thought about buying some different seeds, but because of the remixes I wasn't entirely sure what to expect, so I thought that parsnips was the way to go for now. I did some more meet and greets, went to the beach and found my very first museum donation. I tried to talk to Clint, but he was closed, and then I went home, planted my parsnips, and ended day 1. On day 2, I started by watering my crops and realized a huge error in this farm. I normally play with the standard farm, which has a little pond in the bottom right corner. There's no pond here. I have to run all the way to the river, and this was a horrible revelation. Oh god, there's not a little pond. I then checked on my chickens, and I decided that it would be a good idea for me to continue exploring my farm because I realized that I had never found Grandpa's shrine or the cave when I was searching the day before, and I desperately wanted to know where they were, so I continued to look around. I did manage to spot Grandpa's shrine across the river. No idea how I'm supposed to get there, but I did see it. And the cave was nowhere to be found. I was convinced it had to be in the top half of the map, and it just isn't there. So after a little bit of looking around, I eventually gave up and decided I needed to go into town. I wanted to try to finish greeting all of the villagers, and Willie was back in town, which meant that I could also go and pick up my fishing rod. I didn't spend a lot of time fishing because I did want to finish greeting all of the villagers, and I needed to do that before it got to nighttime, so I sold my fish to Willie and headed back into town, trying to hunt down some people. I ended the day missing one person, and that person was Clint, who I still haven't seen, by the way, because he just closes up his shop and decides that actually he doesn't want to leave. So I went home and used the rest of my energy to clean up the farm and then called it a night. On day 3, it was raining, as always, and my only plan for the day was to go fishing and to finally talk to Clint. I started the day out by saying hi to my chickens, as always, which was very exciting because they were finally grown up and they had eggs ready for me. So I went and I sold the eggs, and I headed into town, ready to start the day. While I was waiting for Clint, I decided to do some fishing in the river, and once he was open, I went and I talked to him, and I also gave him a gift to hit the double whammy on the quests, and then went back to the river to do some more fishing. For some reason, I really don't know why, I opened my inventory while I was at the river for something. I don't remember what I was looking for, but I noticed that there was a new tab for the animals, and this is very exciting. Until it wasn't, because I clicked on the scroll wheel and I crashed. My game just crashed. So we had to start day 3 all over again. We're back for day 3 part 2, and this day did not last very long. I went to pet my chickens, I picked up the eggs, I emptied my inventory, I sold the eggs, and then for some reason, could not tell you why, I opened my inventory, ended up back on the animals page, and crashed again. I really don't know what to say. Was there a thought process behind this? I couldn't say. So day 3 part 3. I've got to be honest, at this point it felt a little like Groundhog Day. I was just glad that I didn't make the mistake of being an idiot late into day 3 part 2. But it started just the same. The only difference was, while I was fishing in the river, I actually got lucky, so maybe this crashing was a blessing in disguise, which meant that I had something a little more exciting to do when I finally got to Clint. So I cracked those bad boys open, and I managed to get 2 new donations for the museum. I then spent the rest of the day fishing in the river until it was nighttime, and I went back to the farm to end day 3. Day 4 was pretty unexciting. I forgot to record the beginning of the day, but I mostly just spent it cleaning up around the farm. I ran out of energy pretty early on, so I decided to spend the rest of the day just looking for forageables. When I was down at the spring onion area, I did notice something interesting, however. There was a new door that was added in the patch. Only a master of the 5 ways may enter. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm very excited to find out. Other than that, I did my rounds of the town and called it a night early. Day 5 was a pretty monumental day.
My kitty!
I was greeted first thing by Marnie with my new black kitty, which was a great addition to this patch. By the way, I named her after my real-life black kitty, Astra. I then checked the mail and received news that the way to the mines had opened up, and as you can see, my parsnips were ready to be harvested for the first time. Not only that, but I then took my parsnips into town, and I got hit with a community center cutscene, which meant soon we would get to see what our remix bundles were. At Piers, I bought a bunch of seeds, and I know that we talked about this, but I needed seeds today, and I realized that with perfection, I would probably have to grow everything eventually anyways, so I just decided to do it now and got a little bit of everything before heading back to the farm to start planting. Once my farm was done, I decided it was time to hit the mines. The day was only half over, which was plenty of time for me to do at least a little bit of mining. Nothing particularly exciting happened while I was in the mines, though I did find a couple of cherry bombs, which I used to get my way over to the dwarf, who of course had nothing interesting to say. And I managed to make it to floor 10 before calling it a night. Day 6 started with a letter from the wizard, who I instantly went and visited because I was very anxious to find out what my first set of bundles were going to be. After becoming one with the forest, I checked my bundles and discovered that I only had 1 remix bundle in the crafts room, which was the forest bundle. I'm thinking this is a new remix from this update because it requires moss, which I'm pretty sure is also new, as I've never heard of it before. But I really couldn't say, so you guys will have to let me know. I then went into town with the intention of breaking open a bunch of geodes and turning in all my donations at the museum. Other than that, I kind of just ran around for the rest of the day. I turned in what I could at the community center and realized I didn't have all of the spring forageables to finish my first bundle, so ran around some more. And then discovered at the beach that there were a gazillion things on the other side of the bridge, so I spent the rest of day 6 collecting wood to pick up all that stuff before it disappeared. And that brings us into day 7. This day was another mining day. I had picked up a quest from Clint the day before to mine some copper, so that was my current goal. I left the mines at floor 15, having completed my quest. It was only 3 p.m, which was good, because I had a few things I still wanted to get done before the end of the day. like finish my first bundle because I finally found the last forageable I needed. This gave me the ability to see what other remix bundles I was going to have, like the quality crops bundle, the brewers bundle, and the garden bundle. And the worst news of all, I went to the fish tank and we need to get legendary fish.
Oh, no.
Guys, I don't know how to do that. We're gonna have to figure it out. It was also Lewis's birthday. I made sure to stop in with him, and I got a new cutscene for a ticket machine in his house. Rather interesting new addition. We'll have to get back to that. I wasn't sure what to give Lewis for a gift, since I didn't really come prepared. But let's just say that he doesn't like quartz. Good to know.
He didn't like that, guys.
Clint's was, of course, closed at this time, so I wasn't able to turn my quest in and decided to hang out at the bar while I waited until I got bored and decided to go searching for him. I managed to run into him, got my money, and that was the last thing I did before heading back to the farm, running off week 1 on our path to perfection. And with that comes the end of this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye!